Hello. So, I'm making a quick video just to talk about MatPat's FNAF timeline videos. I mean, they've concluded. They concluded yesterday, and gotta say, I'm pretty impressed with it. You know, all gripes aside, with some of the conclusions he was drawn to, it was pretty cool. It was pretty neat. You don't see a lot of that stuff done on YouTube. I mean, sure, there are people making FNAF timelines, but none as in-depth and kind of narrative-focused as this one was. Especially with the editing of MatPat, it made it very accessible to a lot of people, and I just gotta say, I thought it was pretty awesome. Me and my friends, we're all hopping on that shit, trying to see, every single part, how it would all roll out. It was pretty cool. Of course, I mean, like he said, that last part was gonna be pretty controversial, and I would say overall, I mean, I really liked it. I really liked the conclusions he was drawn to for most of it. Of course, I did have my gripes as well. Everyone did. FNAF's a very divisive series, so, of course, it's going to be different for everyone. But, I'm just going to talk about it. First of all, I think one thing a lot of people were very shocked by was his conclusion that it wasn't Robo Vanessa, thank fucking God. It was William's wife, the mom of the Afton family, who stood behind the entirety of Security Breach, Help Wanted, and AR. I think it's a very interesting interpretation. I think of course it was very controversial. I don't know how much it makes sense. I think if you distance yourself from a relationship and a franchise for over 50 years, you probably wouldn't have enough attachment to then get into it and then restart an entire corporation, build an entire Pizzaplex mall, kill children, build mecha killing robots, and then try to bring your family back. I don't think you'd have that much attachment after that many years to really, do all that, right? That's something William would have done, but he was always kind of obsessed with it, right? But, Mrs. Afton or Clara Afton have fucking over 50 years to distance. Life happens, man. Life's life. It doesn't just disappear because it's not in the FNAF lore. Otherwise, well, I wouldn't be here. But other than that, I mean, it was a fine conclusion. I think in reality, it's going to be something totally else. In my opinion, it'd most likely be a rich billionaire or just someone trying to restart the company because they've discovered a remnant, right? For me, I think that makes more sense because it's a new character. I guess it wouldn't make more sense. It's just more narratively satisfying. I guess I should get that across. Clara makes sense, especially with the head of the staff bot table. My answer doesn't make more sense, but I would say it's more narratively satisfying for it to be a new character, obviously, considering we have an oversaturation of just old, done lore in the FNAF series. But, we really, time will tell with that DLC. We'll see who it is. If it really is Mrs. Afton, and the MatPat has, once again, proved us wrong, like he did with Patient 46, which no one wants to mention, because none of us saw it coming, man, except for him. Regardless, I think his Security Breach video was pretty good, all things considered. No one made a good interpretation of Security Breach. They all suck. There's not a good one because it's hard. It's hard to interpret. Except for me, of course. I'm flawed. Regardless, I wanted to pick at some other stuff as well. I mean, once again, I really liked it, but if I had to rate them, right, I would rate probably part 2 at the top. I really liked the way he did the narrative in that one. Then part 4. Then part 1. Then part 3. A lot of friends I've talked to hate where I placed part 3. I didn't like part 3. He butchered Sister Location, which is arguably one of my favorite games in the franchise. Kind of made it sound a little bit dumb, and I guess that's his right. He played it, I played it, we all come out with our own interpretations, but I didn't really like the way he structured that episode. Especially, I think it was just a little bit jarring, the switch of perspective, especially after following William for 2 episodes. But so be it. If I had to talk about theories I generally disagree with, I also disagree with what the fans dub Molten MCI. The whole idea that he broke the FNAF 1 animatronics, melted them down to the Funtime animatronics, to then harvest the remnant for, I guess, his experiments, right? that doesn't make a lot of sense. First of all, why the fuck would he build killer animatronics if he was just gonna fucking go back and get more Remnant anyway? Second of all, weren't they supposed to be set free in FNAF 3? Or, like, isn't the idea that the spirits are stuck in the shells and they escape and then they corner William Afton and then, like, I don't see how they can be in both places at once and then somehow, I guess, I feel there's not enough evidence to go in that direction. But then again, it is more satisfying than it being new kids. I don't know. I don't really like that theory, but then again, he has to come to a conclusion. That's just how it is. I have to say I'm definitely more of a fan of his theories than a not fan. I mean, there's a lot of people really don't like them. Like, they really give him a hard time. I like to watch a lot of the other FNAF theorists, despite me not liking a lot of their theories. They got really harsh on his series, man. I don't know why. I mean, those two theories definitely got me a little bit on the hook, to be honest, though. The Mrs. Afton being back, that kind of got everyone. And then Molten MC is very divisive anyway, but I think I'm leaning half and half. There's also the idea that, is it Cassidy or Andrew's the Vengeful Spirit? I'm also split on that one. Because, both of them are from the books. If Cassidy's not Golden Freddy in the books, but is in the books, why is she Golden Freddy in the games? It doesn't... It's really confusing. I get that we have the logbook, and I think the logbook is the biggest, thing. It's super big and just directly explicit about Cassidy being, big. So that's the only thing, steers me towards, yeah, I see it. It's the best solution we have now. But then again, the Man in Room 1280, the story about Andrew, the vengeful spirit in the books or whatever, directly connects into Help Wanted with William Afton getting his agony all over the circuit boards, and also connects, a lot of people don't like people making a connection between Fazbear Frights and FNAF, mainly because of Fazgoo and all the other stuff, and I agree. I completely agree. But they connect so seamlessly, man. They connect seamlessly. That story directly parallels it. Or doesn't even parallel it. They connect. So it's that's a little hard to refute. But I'm still stuck in between because there's the logbook. And the logbook is big info, right? Oh, yeah. Also, and the final thing I'm a little split on is Nightmare animatronics being physical. It's a little bit extreme to think he'd be building big Nightmare animatronics at the time. The evidence supports it. The narrative does not. I mean, the only thing that gets me kind of believing it is the fucking map in Sister Location that shows the dots, and how the dots are the dots are there, and they kind of show their positioning, and that's really only there if you're trying to track the animatronics. But at the same time, I mean, and of course the Twisted Ones definitely create a direct connection, but if it's so weird, it doesn't make sense, does it? It really doesn't make sense to have it there. I don't get why you'd be building those just for that purpose. I mean, I get that the Nightmare animatronics could, it makes sense, but at the same time it just doesn't. It doesn't make sense narratively, and I feel like it makes more sense for them to be Michael's nightmares in between FNAF 1, because the gameplay is FNAF 1 styled, and MapPad actually took this up. He said they was having nightmares of the real nightmares, which makes sense until it doesn't, but until it does again with the Ultimate Custom Night lines. But it's very weird. I don't blame him for the conclusions, but I think I personally like to just write that one Sister Location hand off. But that's a problem, obviously, because you can't just write hands off in a series like this where everything matters. And I know people are gonna fucking kill me for saying this, but Scott doesn't do coincidences. So you kind of need to take everything into account. And just for the record, I think he did a pretty good job of it. I think it's really awesome how we all expected him to get to the conclusions he mentioned in off kind of professional videos. He'd always have this big theories leading up. Vanessa might be 5 robots, and that's why fire ending XY. He was really gonna make us think that he was gonna fuck this up, but he thought deep. He thought deep, right? He really thought deep about when, where, and everything was placed, and I guess he thought probably a little bit, narratively pleasing, obviously, because that shit's not gonna sell if it sucked. I really like that he gave it a good thought. I like that he didn't do robot kids for everything. By that I mean, You know, I also don't know if Gregory's a robot. I used to be super big advocate for Gregory Robot, okay? I know, like, when it first came out, I was still playing Security Breach. I was like, nah, probably not, because I was invested. But then I got really invested in the theory that Gregory's a robot, because, like, him just being, like, old Doomslayer on the robots is super fucking satisfying if he's, like, the crying child who died to them in a previous life. But then GGY kind of deconfirms it, with, you know, Gregory being this normal kid who goes to school. That's not going to work well. I mean, I know Charlie goes to school, so I guess it could, but I don't know. I guess I don't see it. I don't see it. But it could be Gregbot, right? He could be living at the Pizzaplex, dragging the therapist back to his den where he lives, which is the, you know, probably the poster room or some shit where he accesses them. I mean, that could work. Maybe that's why he's a new kid in school. I don't see it. I don't really see it. But I guess he could be. But for me, I think I go with the idea that he's a kid possessed by glitch trap like the rest of them, with the whole wizard's favorite apprentice clues, you know. And I think you can make a pretty cool character out of that. Once again, you make a new character instead of an old one. Maybe he's the wizard, as in William Afton. Maybe he's the wizard's favorite apprentice because he looks like the bite victim. It's a parallel. Or, you know, maybe he I can imagine some really cool backstory for Gregory. Like, he got possessed, killed his family or some shit, then that's why he's homeless at the end of Security Breach, you know? You can do some really cool stuff with it. I'm kind of excited to see where Ruin goes with it. I'm actually more excited for Ruin than the movie, surprisingly. I've seen too many good fan-made FNAF things to really have the movie shock me right now, until they show me real fucking FNAF animatronics. You know, that sign was a good tease, but it's not gonna get me. It's not gonna get me, okay? I've seen real FNAF signs before, okay? It's not gonna get me. You gotta wait till you show me those damn big animaltronics, big fucking furries. Then I'm on. But that's it. That was just me sharing some opinions about the FNAF timeline. Overall, really liked it. Of course, there were some complications with it. You know, you can't ever get anything 100% straight. I'm excited to see his take on Ruin. Without, you know, everything considered, peace out.